Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is, excuse me, I feel like I got to sneeze. Today is April the 18th. And we have, I knew it was coming. We have two NBA games, two NBA elimination games on the board for today in the NBA. So, we're going to jump into the games. We did kind of break them down yesterday. Today, I do have two official bets. I had a chance to go through and do exactly what I said I was going to do, which was match the teams up on the floor before making some official bets yesterday. So we'll talk about those. I also told you guys I would have a few player prop looks for today's show as well. And we'll also have that also. So with no further ado, let's jump into it, man. So we didn't have, there's no recap of yesterday. We'll just go through the comments real quick. I do have a jaXon prompt for you guys again today, and then and we'll jump into the game. Should be a pretty quick show today. What up, Derek? Says good morning. He says, what up, though, Chris? In chat, I'm taking Detroit money line for the series. I think it was plus 340 is what I saw, Derek. And for people, the great segue to I handicapped the series already and talked about that series, kind of broke it down. So if people are interested, go check that video out. It is in the YouTube. It's in the YouTube directory. Just click on videos instead of clicking on live because I did record that one. So Derek said he's taking them on the money line though. What up, G Herb? Appreciate you for tapping in as always. I love us. This playoff weekend is here. Finally, man. It's basketball all day long tomorrow and Sunday. This is like probably my favorite weekend of the year. Absolutely. Avaria says, missed your predictions on the NBA bracket with Cal and Ski. Hope all is well. Yeah, I butchered that, man. I apologize to Cal. I forgot that we were actually doing that show yesterday. So Cal had sent me the link, and I saw like 45 minutes after and was like, "Yo, Cal, we're not doing a show today." He was like, "Yeah, we did the bracket show," and I was like, "Damn, that's one of my favorite shows to do, man. We had so much fun doing that last year." So yeah, I'm thinking about doing something like that just to kind of give you guys my thought process on like the actual brackets. But I missed that show with Cal and Ski yesterday for sure. What up, LJ? Says top of the morning. I got Hawks plus 1.5, 4-0 versus the East at home on Fridays this season, plus 9 in point differential. So he likes the Hawks. Okay. What up, Tasha? Good morning. What up, Peasy? Bet at your own risk. Says what's good, Chris? What's good, chat? They say if you sneeze, you grow an inch taller. I'm done growing, but at your own risk, I'm done growing. But I'd be, probably 13 feet tall for all the sneezes I got, especially during the springtime when the allergies in Virginia are terrible, man. What up, Justin? Hope all is well with you, bro. Appreciate you for tapping in. Pedro says, do you think the over between the Grizzlies and the Mavs? We'll talk about it. Justin says going down with the ships. Hawks money line in his pocket. Okay. Chad says, what up, fellas and ladies? Jumping on a little late. Bless you, bro. Appreciate you, Chad. Appreciate you for sure. Good morning, Jose. And let's talk about it today, man. Good morning, Matt, as well. Let's talk about the game. So first, we'll start with jaXon. jaXon is an AI sports betting tool. For most of the people that's been around for a while, you already know. Use the promo code if you're interested in checking it out. Today, the prompt was because I know people don't like betting unders, right? So I asked jaXon, what are the two best overs for player props in the NBA tonight? What are the two best overs for player props in the play-in games for tonight in the NBA? And jaXon likes Tyler Hero up and over his 3.5 threes. It says why the best stands out. He's been a consistent three-point shooter against the Atlanta Hawks, making 3 or more in 6 of his last 7 games against the Hawks. The Atlanta also ranks 28th in opponent three-point percentage, 38.9, and the 27th in opponent three-pointers made, 14.5 per game is what they're allowing when playing at home, making this a favorable matchup for Tyler Hero. In the last game against the Bulls, Tyler Hero hit 3 threes. He hit 3 triples on 7 attempts, and his shooting volume remains high in Miami's tightened playoff rotation. Makes a ton of sense. Supporting context, Hero thrives in high-pressure games, as evident by his 38-minute performance against Chicago, where he scored 25 points, and it was a focal part of Miami's offense. With Atlanta's defense struggling on the perimeter, Hero is well-positioned to exceed this line. Take Tyler Hero up and over his 3.5 made threes. I actually had this one written down based on my numbers as well. I don't know if I'll end up getting there. It's something that I like a little bit more than that, I think. But I think Tyler Hero hits 4 threes tonight. I would definitely be taking the over 4 under. The next one is, and I kind of thought about this as well, taking Bam Adebayo up and over his points prop. 19.5, it looks like, is the number. And I do see a little juice on it, at least, based on what jaXon thinks. Has it at minus 133. Why the bet stands out, Bam has been a reliable scorer for the Miami Heat, averaging 20.8 points per game in the recent weeks. Atlanta's defense is 28th in opponent field goal percentage, 48%. They struggle to contain big men in the paint. Adebayo scored 20 points in 10 consecutive playoff games, showcasing his ability to step up in critical moments. Adebayo has a strong track record against Atlanta, averaging 23.5 points in his last 6 games against the Hawks. With Clint Capella listed as questionable, Adebayo could dominate the paint again against a weakened Atlanta front court. So, yeah. Tyler Hero up and over his 3.5 made threes, and Bam Adebayo over 19.5 points. I like them both. I do like them both. I like them both a lot, actually. I think I would be looking a little bit more towards Bam, but we'll talk about the player props in a second. I did get a chance to go back and watch that game that was played between these two teams a couple weeks ago, and the video was pretty telling on a couple different things. The way that these teams probably going to try to guard each other. So yeah, I do like that. I do like the Bam a little bit more than the Tyler Hero. But let's talk about the matchup. I did bet both yesterday on the show. So these will be pretty short breakdowns for today. But yesterday on the show, I talked about liking the Miami Heat in this matchup. And I know some people in the chat that don't like it because they said that they're going down with the shit with Atlanta or riding with Atlanta. Atlanta open 1. They are now a 1-point dog. And I do think that Miami's probably going to be the public side here. I'm cool with being on the public side if I feel like it's the best side. Remember yesterday, one of the things I said was each team that has been the better defensive team in all the play-in games have won the play-in game so far this season, right? You go back to the first matchup with Atlanta losing to Orlando the better defensive team. Memphis lost to Golden State was the better defensive team. Miami lost Dallas beat Sacramento. Sacramento was the better defensive team. Chicago lost to Miami. Miami, the better defensive team. So I'm riding with the better defensive team here. I do think that a big part of the matchup, in my opinion, outside of Miami beating Atlanta in the last 2 matchups, I think a big part of this too is Davion Mitchell. I do like Davion Mitchell. And I talked about this, kind of hinted at it yesterday. I do like Davion Mitchell to be able to slow down Trae Young. I think that Spoelstra will have a defensive game plan. I think Spoelstra is the better coach between him and Quinn Snyder. And I kind of feel like Atlanta's offensive, role players are not as good as they have been in recent years. When you got a rookie out there like Zachary Reese-Shea, and there's no slight towards Reese-Shea. He's just a rookie. He hasn't been in these type of moments before. You got defensive everybody on Atlanta is a defensive liability, in my opinion, outside of Dyson Daniels. We know that they don't play defense. They don't get stops. So yeah, I do like Miami in this matchup. I think that they have the championship DNA, the playoff DNA, and I think Atlanta goes down today. So I did end up betting Miami. I bet Miami +1. You could still get a +1 just like 10 minutes ago. You probably still can. But I wanted it to be official play for the show. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I did take Atlanta. I did take Miami +1 on FanDuel. Sent it out to the members. Just not really, like I said, not really liking how Atlanta's gonna have to score the basketball if Trae Young is off, if his 3-point shot is not falling, if they if they double Trae Young and make him a facilitator, which I'm kind of thinking that they will do. If you go back and watch the last game, you saw a lot of that. They were trying to get the ball out of Trae Young's hand, make him more of a passer and facilitator than a scorer. And I think that they're going to do that again in this game here. So, if those guys are knocking down shots, Atlanta absolutely can win this game. But if they're cold, it may not be there for them today. I also think that Bam has a really good matchup against Onyeka Okongwu. jaXon alluded to it a little bit as well, but they don't really have anybody to slow down Bam. I think Bam can do pretty much whatever it is that he wants to. Tyler Hero should have a big game as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get a nod to the Miami Heat here. I did play him +1 in this game. Let's see what the thought processes are here, if we have anything different. Good morning, Adam. Appreciate you for tapping in. CJ says, so the play-in, not one and done. And this is one and done. This is one and done. It's the play-in, but it's you lose and you're done here. DJ, what up, bro? Says, good morning, Chris. I told you no, not to doubt Coach Spo going back to Miami today. Yeah, you did. I think you did say that the other day, DJ. I'm with him today. And I didn't bet Chicago either. I stayed off. So I'm glad I did. Onk says, gang was good. What's up? One on MLB yesterday, now the NBA tonight. Let's get it. Helping Hand says Miami versus Golden State in the playoffs. I don't think so. Christian says, yo, what's goody, Chris? Hope everything is Gucci. Let's get some money today. Right back at you, Christian. Let's do this, that. Let's see. Appreciate you for shouting that out. DJ, he says jaXon is a little bit off. Bam only had 15 points last game. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. We'll go to the player props in just a second. But I know he cooked my parlay. Jam says take the Heat -3, taking the alt line for a little plus money here. Okay. Adam says I'm just going to take a shot at player props in Miami Heat team total over. Haven't bet it yet. I'm not sure who's going to win. I lean Heat though. Okay. Bet at your wrist says going back to the Hawks team total points over at 107.5. The Heat of 1-4. The last 5 stopping teams from scoring in the Hawks, averaging 116 points per game in the last 5, and 110 versus the Heat. Yeah. The thing is, though, bet at your own risk. You can throw all them regular season numbers away, man. Atlanta scored 106 points. I mean, they didn't even get to 100 against Orlando in the last game. So if the pace slows down, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't bet on it, the Miami Heat team total up and over at 10. I think it's 109.5. Because Miami scored 37 points in the final, 24 minutes of that game the other day. They had a 16-point quarter and a 21-point quarter in quarters 3 and 4. So yeah, I do think it'll be played with pace, but it wouldn't surprise me if the game slowed down and we saw some defense in one of these quarters. G says I can see this being a Trae Young last game in Atlanta if they lose. Okay. Fade the under prop on Zachary Ricochet. I love it. Says, nah, I can't. So I watched the film. I love it. Zachary Ricochet had 5 points in like the first 2 minutes, man. And the way I kind of think about the game. So real quick, let's just go over. Let's take a little field trip, ladies and gentlemen. Put your seatbelts on. Let's go over the Outlier real quick. So we faded Zachary Ricochet in the last game, and it was a cash. It was an easy cash. But I'm watching the game that just happened. So let me get off a couple things here. Let's go to props over here. Take this off. Let's minimize me a little bit. Put me in the corner. All right. So going into players, right? So Zachary Ricochet. And it's not to say he can't have a bad game. He absolutely can. I just watched him score 5 points in the first 2 minutes of that game that they played less than 3 weeks ago between these two teams. I was like, nah, I'm good off fading Zachary Ricochet. And the reason is this, right? And you can see that he struggled in the last couple games, going under in 3 of his last 5. Specifically against the Miami Heat, he has not hit this number in any of the games at 11.5. But this got bet up. Remember, we talked about this being 10.5, which you can see right here yesterday. So for people who are new to the show, this is Outlier. It's a sports betting tool that you can use to handicap player props. You can look at sides and totals as well, but there is a 7-day free link if people are interested. You can also come down here and see Miami 7th in points allowed specifically, and against the small forward position, they're 11th. Now, you got to keep in mind that Wiggins hasn't been on the team the full season. He's a much better defender. But what I'm thinking specifically about why I don't want to fade anybody else is because I do feel like Spoelstra is going to make Trae Young a facilitator. So will you live with Zachary Ricochet getting hot rather than Trae Young? Absolutely, you will if you're Eric Spoelstra. So I'm thinking that they're going to be able to find some of these guys. And if you watch the way that, and this, you got to really do your homework, right? If you watch the way that the Miami Heat were guarding Trae Young off the pick and roll in the last game when they just played, they were doing a lot of hedging, a lot of doubling, bringing 2 guys up because they didn't want Trae Young to get hot from the 3-point line or just in general. So a lot of those were catch and shoots by Zachary Ricochet. I know he only had 5 points in this game, but he scored those in the first 2 minutes. I watched it and I was like, yeah, I'm good off fading Zachary Ricochet because if he does hit a couple shots in a row, I mean that could be it. So you only need them to get to 12. With that being said, I'm not taking the over either. It's just not a play that I'm going to make. Now, if we go look at Trae Young, though, because as we get into player props for the game, I do like Trae to. I do think Trae could struggle in this matchup. So let's go to Mr. Trae Young. I'm still on the insights. Hold on. All right, let's go here. Let's go players. Let's go Trae. All right, so if we go Trae Young, we look at Trae Young, and I know he's at home. He's in Atlanta. I get it. He's hit the over in 3 of his last 4 games. In the head-to-head matchups against against Miami this season, he's only hit the over once, and this was in the last game, and it also came on some late 3-pointers in the 4th quarter. So if we go look at his three-point attempts, he shot 12. And I'm not saying that he's not going to shoot 12 today, but if he shoots 6 for 12, you just kind of got to live with that. I think you just live with that because I don't think that – Trae Young shooting 6 for 12 in a game is kind of an outlier, in my opinion. You can see that he has struggled in the 3 games before that, going 2 for 9, 0 for 7, and then 1 for 6. All of those numbers are right here. So he shot 6 for 12, which is great. That's what 6 times 3 is 18 points, right? 18 of his 29 points came from the 3-point line. He still only hit the over, which this number is down. I didn't even know that it was down that much, but it opened at 27.5. I thought it was still at 27. It's down to 25, and it got bet all the way down to 24.5. So the sharps are taking the under on Trae Young, and I absolutely agree with it. I think just looking at it real quick, where's the best number you can get for Trae Young to go under? Player points. Bear with me just for a second while I find Trigger Trae, look towards his under on points. So 26.5 is the highest number you can get. It's juice too. It's minus 135 on BetMGM and minus 135 on Hard Rock. Everywhere else got it at 25.5. So Trae Young has already been bet down from 27.5 to 25.5. Makes me a little less likely to play it, if I'm being honest. But this was something that I did have on my short list because I think the other guys are going to have to step up, in my opinion, in this one. So that's my thought process on the player props for this game. I think we did a pretty good job here. And then not going to go through Bam, but I think Bam is in a really good matchup as well. I will be looking towards Bam to go up and over his points prop. Him and Tyler Hero, I think, both have pretty big games in this one, in my opinion, way I'm thinking about the game. Let's see. What else was mentioned here? I think that was this comment from my lovers. Miami wins by margin. Hawks can't get stops. They moved the ball away from Dyson Daniels. Parlay J says back on the Heat team total over. Wolfgang says might go back to him in the first quarter as well. Nice plus money bet the other day at +1 at +105 altogether. Okay. And Brian likes it too. Miami first quarter full game. Atlanta looked horrible the other night. They absolutely did. What up, Manny? Happy Friday to you, my brother. All right, we did a pretty good job here. DJ says I feel like Trae is in Cancun already. He knows that he doesn't have enough help with the current role players. Could be another Miami blowout. Okay. G421 says fully agree, Chris. The focus will be shutting down Trae tonight. But Miami can't disagree with the Reese Shea covering his points. Any of those guys, I think, somebody going to score the basketball for sure. I just don't think I don't think Spoelstra's going to let Trae get the best of him tonight. And that's just my thought process. They got the defenders to throw at him, with a Davion Mitchell being out there. They got some other defenders that they could throw at Trae Young as well. And they could double him. Trae Young he's like, 5'8", probably 5'9". So I think they double him as well. Mavs and Grizzlies next up. Last game on the board. I did bet this one too. We talked about it yesterday. Hadn't pulled the trigger because I wanted to match the teams up on the floor. I am on the Dallas Mavericks today, plus the 6.5. I think there are still some 6.5s out there. It was 6.5 yesterday. I couldn't really understand the number. I know that, Memphis, we talked about it yesterday. It had the rest advantage. You can still get 6.5. It looks like it has come down. The consistency is 6. But still some 6.5s floating around out there on ESPN Bet. Bet MGM. I'm sorry, Bet 365. Bet MGM has a 6.5 as well. So it's a couple, still some 6.5. Fanatics, if they let you play more than a few bucks, you could play on Fanatics as well. But come down to 6. Total has also come down. So big thing here is, at least the update here is Ja Morant did not go through practice yesterday. He is, I think, going to be a game time decision. They listed as questionable, and that was due to a sprained right ankle. If he's limited, of course, that limits Memphis offense. Memphis is still capable of winning games without Ja Morant, but I kind of feel like another team that's, just kind of limping at this point. Jalen Williams just broke his arm. Ja Morant could potentially not play. Even if Ja plays, I still like Dallas here. We talked about the head-to-head matchups yesterday, how none of them mattered, in my opinion. None of them, you can use to project this game because there were key players missing or key players traded, a la, Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis being in LA in all of the matchups, and the last game of the season, they, just rested players. So I think you could toss away all of those games. What I'm looking at specifically is Anthony Davis. And I asked jaXon about this earlier because I'm gonna talk about a rebound prop in just a second, but I want to read what jaXon said about this prompt. So I asked jaXon this morning. This is more like general information, right? I asked jaXon this morning. I said, how good of a rebounding team are the Mavericks in games where Anthony Davis has played? And jaXon tells me that the Dallas Mavericks have shown significant improvement in rebounding during games where Anthony Davis has been on the floor. His presence has bolstered their ability to control the glass, particularly on the defensive end. Here's a detailed breakdown. So Anthony Davis' individual rebounding impact. He's averaging 10.1 rebounds in his 9 appearances with the Mavericks this season. He's consistently contributed on both ends with a strong presence on the defensive rebounding glass, defensive rebounding, and occasional offensive boards. Team rebounding performances. In games with Davis, the Mavericks are averaging 45.8 total rebounds per game, which is a noticeable improvement compared to their season average of 43 rebounds per game without him. The Mavericks' defensive rebounding has been particularly strong as Davis' ability to contest shots and secure boards limit second chance opportunities for opponents. Recent play-in game, the Mavs grabbed 44 rebounds with Davis contributing 9. His presence helped neutralize Sacramento Kings rebounding leader Domantas Sabonis, who was held to 12 rebounds despite his average 13.9 per game. Front court synergy. The Mavericks' front court rotation of Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively has been effective in controlling the paint. This trio has allowed Dallas to compete against some of the league's best rebounding teams. So then it gives me some more numbers. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what jaXon can do, bro. Like, that's why I keep talking about it on the show, because it just goes so detailed, and you don't have to really do the research as much. You can double check it, of course, I always do, but yeah, this is pretty crazy. But anyway, I say all that to say that I do think that Dallas is going to win the boards here, and I didn't even talk about Anthony Davis with Derek Lively, with Daniel Gafford, with PJ Washington all playing together. This is a very, very big rotation. I will say, if you like Memphis, you like that they have, pretty much they like to get downhill and score in the paint. I honestly don't think it's going to be there. The numbers from Dallas say that they have been giving up points in the paint. I honestly don't think that they're going to give up too many points in the paint. I think Dallas defense has not. I don't think we've seen Dallas's defense as currently constructed in a lot of games this season, even throughout the last 10, which is where Dallas has really bad numbers protecting the paint. I think Dallas will do a much better job with the trio of guys, adding in PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and a do or die game. This team, I talked about it yesterday. Another aspect and component that I like is that the Dallas Mavericks have all of the playoff experience in this series. Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, all of the other bigs that went to the finals last year, and the Grizzlies don't. They got some guys that's been in the playoffs before, but I think that is a big component for me here. And I also think that I want to ride with the better defensive team. So if I'm getting 6, I didn't bet the money line. Maybe I'll put a quarter unit on the money line as well. But I do like Dallas a lot in this matchup. I really, really do. I think Memphis will struggle defensively. And I think Dallas, even though I'm not expecting their offense to look as good, Dallas shot 14 for 28 from the 3-point line in that win against Sacramento the other day. That was only they only made 14 threes or more 3 times in their last 17 games. They hit 50% or better from the floor just once in their last 29 games in the regular season from the 3-point line. So that tells me that, they probably won't be as efficient from the 3-point line, but I think that Anthony Davis should be able to score the basketball even against Jared Jackson Jr. He's done pretty well in the matchups against Jared Jackson Jr. I'm just riding with Dallas in this spot. So Dallas it is for me. Yeah, that's what I like. I like Dallas in the game. I bet Dallas as well, plus 6.5 here. As far as player props, let's just go over to Outlier really quick, and then I'll go through the comments, do a quick recap, and get off of here. As far as player props, the one that stands out to me the most is, and this is going to be probably a little bit unpopular, Zach Edey. I like Zach Edey under his boards. And if we go, let me just minimize this up. All right, so if we go here, we look at Zach Edey's rebounds. You can see that he's listed at 12.5. It is still it's plus money. It is plus money, but you can get Zach Edey under 10.5, under 12.5 rebounds at minus 110 as well. This opened at 11.5. It got bet up to 12.5, then 13.5, and now it's starting to come back down to the 12.5. And you can see he's been crushing the number, right? Back-to-back games, he's had 16 and 17. He's playing a lot more minutes as well. He's gone up and over in 4 of his last 6 games. They're going to need him out there as well. I just think that he's been playing against teams that don't necessarily rebound the basketball as well. Now, there's no slight to Denver. Denver's a pretty good rebounding team. But Golden State, 17, I think that's a little bit of an outlier. Golden State is a good rebounding team, but they don't have a lot of size. I mean, if you watch the game, he was doing whatever he wanted to do to Kevon Looney and even Draymond at times. Like, it's really kind of hard to box him out. I understand that. But this is probably going to be the best rebounding team with the trio of rebounders that Dallas can throw out there at any given time throughout. I think this Dallas rebound team is going to be a really good rebounding team in general. So I do like Zach Edey to go under on his boards today. A little bit more on that. He's only averaged 8.3 rebounds this season. And in the most recent game, like we talked about against Dallas, specifically on March 7th, he was held to 12. And we can see that too if we go to the head-to-head matchup. He had 12 in this matchup that they played. 3 in the earlier matchup. But like I said, his minutes have been up. I'm just looking at Dallas, and they've been a pretty good rebounding team. And I think Anthony Davis being back helps a lot. We just saw Anthony Davis able to neutralize Sabonis, who is also a really good rebounder. Now you throw in Daniel Gafford, you throw in Derek Lively, and I think that helps neutralize Zach Edey on the boards as well. So if I'm playing a player prop in this game, I do like Zach Edey under his 12.5 boards. I think this is a really good spot to sell high. When we think about, just like the stock market, and you think about a player props and you compare the two, I think it's a really good time to sell high on Zach Edey and to take his under 12.5 boards. That's the way that I would be playing this one. Favorite player prop in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I did a lot of talking, and then we'll get into a quick recap. Let's see. What up, Jay, man? Appreciate you for tapping in. Mitchell and Wiggins over points prop for Adam in that last game. I love it since I'm still taking this under. He 50. Who you talking about? I love it. I've been doing a lot of talking. Let me know who you talking about. G Harris says Trae Young, Trae points are going to depend on the whistle. Yeah, one thing I looked at too, and real quick, I'll pull it up real quick just to double check myself. When you think about the whistle, right? The Miami Heat actually finished second in the NBA in opponent free throw rate. G Harris. So Miami sends teams to the free throw line at the second lowest rate in the NBA. Over the course of the full season, last 10 games, which you could take with a grain of salt, they were 14th in free throw rate as well. So I do think that, that Miami could do a really good job of, defending without fouling. We'll see what kind of call Atlanta gets. They are a team that shoots a lot of free throws. They finished top 10, finished 9th overall in the NBA. Last 5 games, They finished just 16th though. Last 10 games, I'm sorry. They finished last 5 games. I'm sorry. Last 5 games, they finished just 10th in the association. DJ Props says, I feel like trades. Oh, I read these comments already. Let's go down a little bit. Jared Jackson Jr. Props. CJ says, potentially. I can see that. Adam says, I'm on Dallas again. You know it. Loving Brandon Williams over his points and assists. If you can grab it, have his over at 8.5. I do think that he has a big game. We talked about it yesterday. I didn't even see his points prop. It came out though. What up, bro? DJ, appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Adam says, love Dallas team total over as well. Chad likes Dallas team total over. I could see that. I was looking at it and I was just thinking like the game could go under, which is why I'm off the over. But Dallas team total is 107.5 on FanDuel right now at minus 106. When has Memphis held anybody under 108 points? Think about it. Just think about it for a second. I looked into that yesterday. I'm not going to play it though. Eugene says Anthony Davis 2 points, 2 rebounds in the first 3 minutes. Damn. Okay. J. Dot says Dallas is in for a rude awakening. Okay. We'll see. What up, GLB says, what up, Chris and chat? Only a few weeks in. And I'm remembering why I hate betting MLB, NBA all day. Brandon Williams played well, 17 minutes, 5 assists, 17 points, 5 assists. He should get 20 minutes at least to score over his 10 points. I agree with that, Adam. Definitely agree with that. What do you think about Wiggins' points? Sterling says, I didn't really look too much into it. I would have to do a little bit deeper analysis on that. Pedro says, Cal mentioned on his show that Memphis actually has been dropping some threes recently, especially Bane. Do you think it would be a problem for the Mavs? I don't think so. I actually don't think at their core Memphis is a good three-point shooting team either. I know that they've kind of revamped the offense a little bit, but I think Dallas got the defenders to throw at Desmond Bane. This is my thought process. DJ Props says Anthony Davis takes Edie to school tonight, taking his 40 points and rebounds. He could drop 40 points alone in this matchup. Okay. And Adam saying that Brandon Williams points prop is available on FanDuel at 8.5. Real quick, I know a lot of people are mentioning Brandon Williams, and we talked about him yesterday. Let me just see where I can find the best number real quick, just so you guys can have it. Let's see, Williams. So Brandon Williams' number is 8.5 on Bet. ESPN Bet got the best number because it's only 5 cents a juice right now if you like the over. ESPN Bet got an 8.5. Oh, I'm sorry, my fault. No, they don't got the best price. Bet 365 got the best price because you can get Brandon Williams at 8.5 plus 110 right now if you got access to Bet 365. Plus 110, minus 105 on ESPN Bet, minus 112 on FanDuel. You don't want to drink that 12 cent of juice if you can get it at plus 110. This is why you price shop. That's 22 cents that you could save by getting this on ESPN Bet. Get yourself some plus money if you like it. Minus 110 on Fanatics, and ESPN and DraftKings got it all the way up to 9.5, and it's minus 115. So DraftKings got by far the worst price and the worst number, and this is why you line shop, because over the course of time you're gonna save yourself a ton of money line shopping. So prime example of why you sign up for odds jam, because that's what I'm using to look at the number right now. Let's see. Jay Hank says Hard Rock in Florida has Tyler Hero threes at 2.5. Okay. I like Tyler Hero at 2.5 threes. I like that a lot. I know that it's super juice, but I do like Tyler Hero to hit 3 threes today for sure. All right, that's it. I think we did a pretty good job. Just a quick recap. Miami +1, I'm on it. Dallas +6.5, I'm on it. Trae Young under his 27.5 points is gone now. It's down to 26.5 is the best number. So I'll just leave that in red for people who are new. Red plays are plays that I have not played yet. Zach Edey under his 12.5 rebounds is definitely something that I'm highly considering for sure. If you want access to all of the plays that I make when I do make them, use the link in the description to sign up. I mean, it's really like buying buy me a cup of coffee for the entire month. I don't charge people a lot for the plays that I do make. Hopefully we can kind of keep it rolling here. Best of luck on whatever it is that you play. If I add anything, it'll be sent to the members throughout the day. And probably doing another show a little bit later this evening as well, kind of going through some of the looks. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do a show in the morning. My son got soccer at 9 a.m. And I'm not trying to wake up super duper early in the morning to handicap. Well, not even handicap, because the handicapping is done. But to talk about the games tomorrow. It's a lot of games tomorrow. So I'll see what I end up doing. It might be an overnight show. But we'll see, man. We shall see. Resources, as always, are here. Use them. Check them out. They're all recommended, of course, as well. Wouldn't recommend them if I didn't think that they were great products. So definitely check those referral codes out and discount codes in the description of the video. Best of luck on whatever it is that you're playing today, man. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy the weekend of hoops, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.